G'day, welcome back to DC Extra. My name is Chris. Today we are going to be diving back into My Adventures with Superman, Season 3, with Episode 6, titled Party Animals. Without further ado, let's get straight into this episode and find the hidden references and comic book connections throughout. This episode opens with a quick flashback that reminds us that at the end of last episode, Clark lost his powers, no longer able to be Superman. Now skipping forward a month, we go to a party where Lois, Jimmy and Clark are nominated for awards. However, Clark doesn't exactly feel happy about it, as it's his Superman persona who was nominated, and since he can no longer be that person, he feels like an imposter. He claims to be fine though, but you can obviously tell he isn't. Jimmy asks Lois as to if Kara is bringing a date to the gala. As far as she knows, she isn't. Due to picking up Clark's slack and being a full-time Supergirl now, she hasn't really had the time for dating, so no date for her. Jimmy, however, has invited another person from the Worms dating app, which Lois isn't happy about, since he's doing it to mainly make Kara jealous on a night where she is receiving an award. Yeah, that's kind of a dick move there, Jimmy. Jimmy gets ambushed by the Daily Planet interns, who Perry offloads to him, but before he can decide what he's going to do with them, Kara arrives, stunning the entire gala in a beautiful dress. Lois calls her over to her and Jimmy, but before she gets to them, Jimmy's date arrives. And damn does he know how to make a scene, as his date is a princess, Princess Marina Maru specifically, who we will later learn is the Princess of Markovia. Her accent does sound more French though, although Markovia is a fictional country, so you gotta take it what you can. Princess Marina Maru is actually a character from the comics though, as a member of the Japanese royal family as opposed to Markovian. She later goes on to become a villain known as Dr. Poison, using her knowledge of toxicology to her advantage, often being pitted against Wonder Woman. Here though, it seems her exact origins are a little bit different, but we will see if she has any villainous tendencies. Back to the gala though, as intended, the arrival of Jimmy's date makes Kara jealous.
Jimmy brought a date? Jimmy brought a date!
Lois is surprised by his choice of date too, but is much more concerned about Clark, who has not yet opened himself up about how the loss of his powers is affecting him, bottling his emotions for an entire month. Before they can properly talk though, he's pulled away as the interns cause a bit of a commotion. Lois is ambushed by Vicky Vale, who berates her about turning down her offer to join her as a reporter in Gotham City. They have a bit of a back and forth, but ultimately get into a competition over who can get the best scoop at the event tonight. And of course, who can win the award. Across the city, Bizarro works a job at an ice cream shop, even helping a little boy who drops his scoop. He sees a news clip announcing Supergirl will be at the gala and that they hope to see Superman. Upon seeing an image of Clark, he says, "My friend," seeming to still be appreciative of how he saved his life back in episode 1. In this scene we also see the golden statues of Superman and Supergirl, but Superman's statue stands with its head broken off after the destruction in last episode, serving as a reminder to both the audience and the people of Metropolis that Superman is currently inactive, and no one knows if he will ever come back. Back at the gala, Kara gets to talking, or I guess interrogating Jimmy and his date. Jimmy tries apologizing in a roundabout way, while still in front of Princess Maru, but they get interrupted as the event's speaker begins, speaking. Here we learn that the event they are all at is the Humanitarian Gala, not especially important, but it is nice to know. And the speaker here is Silver St. Cloud, who we actually saw last in Season 2, Episode 5. In one of the back rooms of the museum in which the gala takes place, some thugs take out the security, and the interns sneak off, so Clark must once again track them down. Bizarro comes to the gala as well, to presumably try and get a glimpse of his friend. Kara accepts her award on behalf of herself and Superman, who of course couldn't make it, but this isn't quite as exciting as Kara hoped it would be, as Clark is currently missing her big moment and Jimmy is using it to make her jealous. Vicky tries to get a scoop out of the princess while Lois goes off after noticing men positioned around the museum, all armed with guns. The interns run through a hallway and discover a crate of gas that we will later see the effects of. Clark searches for them, but starts experiencing what I can only describe as a hallucination of some sort, where it looks like some sort of Kryptonian architecture takes over the museum. But upon hearing one of the interns scream, he snaps out of it and rushes off, and despite not having any powers, stands between the children and a gun, proving that even without his powers, he still is Superman. He gets shot in the arm, but manages to take down his adversary, but they all quickly run away when more arrive. Lois goes searching for Clark and the rest after noticing they were missing, and gets trapped in a closet with them all after being chased down by a guard going by the name Vulture. He lets slip that him and his associates are attempting to kidnap the princess. The princess takes the stage to make a speech where she reveals herself as Dr. Poison, vowing to curse the earth of the disease known as humankind.
I guess I have a type!
Poison releases the crates of gas that disperse throughout the museum and turn people into animals, starting with Perry, who turns into a bear. I guess we could call him Barry now. Chaos ensues and Supergirl chases Dr. Poison, but she reveals a contingency plan, that being more of her men positioned at the Metropolis Dam, ready to release the poison to the entire city. She flies off to deal with the larger problem, while Jimmy vows to take down Dr. Poison, or something like that.
But didn't you feel our connection, our animal attraction?
Well...
Lois, Clark, and the interns run away from an alligator in the air vents. Lois manages to take down the alligator by dropping the air vent, but that's at the expense of transforming herself into a cat.
Are you
Up here, Smallville!
cat?
Jimmy uses his charm to get close enough to Dr. Poison until he has the chance to steal her mask, exposing her to her own gas. At the dam, Supergirl quickly destroys the gas canisters, while Bizarro helps out at the gala, stopping Dr. Poison and her goons from escaping. Supergirl returns and finds them wrapped up nicely, unsure of who helped. Star Labs arrives on the scene to help turn everyone back into humans, and Jimmy finally admits that he is in love with Kara, albeit to his Psycho ex, who is currently a fox, but hey, it's progress. Fortunately, Kara does hear him as well, but we will get back to that in just 1 second. Silver St. Cloud gives Lois her award, finally getting one up on Vicky Vale. Kara confronts Jimmy for telling Dr. Poison about his feelings instead of her, and although they are now on the same page, it looks like they will have to put in a bit more work to repair their friendship, let alone anything further than that. Clark and Lois get to talking as well, with Clark finally letting out his feelings, showing his anger and despair over his lost powers, unsure of who he is anymore. Before Lois can respond, the two of them, along with Jimmy and Kara, get sucked through some purple portals that open up on the floor beneath them. And that there is the end of this episode. It was a bit of a slower one compared to the last few weeks, but did a lot of work progressing our characters forward. Having Jimmy finally admit his feelings for Kara to himself, and letting Clark just be angry about his lost powers. As for what that portal was, I'm assuming it's going to transport them into the future, but we will have to wait until next week to find out. Until then, that is it for this video. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing so YouTube knows to recommend you more videos like this one. Anyway, until next time, this has been Chris, and I'll be seeing you.